Today we're going to look at SUI, and we're going to take a look at SUI with respect to a couple other layer ones to determine whether or not I believe it might be undervalued, and to get an idea of some metrics for selling. What am I talking about? Well, first, big dumb animal, don't do what I do. That's my disclaimer, informational purposes only. So two things that are going on here. This is November of 2024, assuming that prices start to take off and we start to go into altcoin season, as they say. Well, if that's the case and if that's coming up, then we've got a short time to have additional buying opportunities if we're interested. So we want to compare them and see, well, are they overvalued at the moment? Are they undervalued? What do we think? And then two, well, sometimes things can go up extremely fast and come down even faster. So I like to go ahead and start looking at my sell levels, if you will. But I like to have a reason as to why I'm picking a price. So if SUI is currently a little over $2 and I'm thinking of selling maybe 25% at $5 and a certain amount at $6, well, how did I come up with those prices? What was my methodology? This is what I do. And I keep track of it because as time goes on, I want to relook at how I picked those prices. If I did it on certain metrics like transactions or total value locked or fees or other metrics, I want to know, well, are those being hit or are they not? Because I might have to lower my expectations, or maybe they're doing better than I thought. Anyway, that's why with respect to SUI, I'm going to look at 4 different chains. We're going to look at Ethereum, Solana, the Binance Smart Chain, and SUI. You'll recognize the first 3 are really high up on the, if we're looking at CoinGecko here, this is, I think I was already in the category of, layer ones by market, layer ones sorted by market cap. I'm using CoinGecko because we're also going to look at fully diluted as well as market cap. And over here, it shows us really quickly. You can glance and see how many of the coins are already in circulation. So Ethereum's way up on the list, as you know, and Solana and BNB and SUI. Why did I pick these 3? I thought they were good because they're all pretty close to fully, and they've been around for a while, pretty close to all their coins out. And I'm going to be looking at just 2 metrics. And I'm saying that for a reason, because these chains have other things you can take into account. For example, SUI is fast and very cheap. But we're going to look at total value locked, and we're going to look at fees that are being generated and some of the current multiples to see how they compare. Okay, so first, we're going to take a look at the market caps. But I do have a story that I was thinking about today that happened a long time ago, and I've never forgotten it. I don't know why. And I'm older. Most people aren't going to understand this at all. I was at a startup company out, and I lived in San Francisco for a while, and we had just gotten more office space. The market was booming. It was hard to get office space, so we got more space to expand, and it was in this older building, and we had set up Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi was down. And I thought, oh man. So I remember there was a conference room kind of in the back, and it had Ethernet, just plug it into the wall. So I went back in the conference room, and I'm sitting there, and I plugged in, and I'm doing my thing. And then another individual comes in that works there and sits down and starts talking to me. Great guy, funny guy. We became vast friends, but that's beside the point. I'm doing my thing and he's got his laptop and he's talking and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Pass me the internet." I was like, "Pass you the internet?" So then I unplugged the Ethernet cable, gave it to him, and he plugged in. I don't know why I think that's so funny. It's kind of like the internet is like a gray market good. Like, hey, come here. You want some Ethernet? I mean, you want some internet? I got some internet. I'll sell you some internet. You interested? I don't know why that's so funny. I think that's funny. Hey, pass me the internet. These days, like, what are you talking about? It's everywhere. All right. Market cap. If you're familiar, and I'm sure you are, but let's just recap. Market cap is the total circulating coins in circulation right now times the price. Fully diluted is if all the coins were in circulation times the price. So Ethereum, that's what this is over here. And by the way, you can hit this customize button and you can turn on and off fully diluted and the market cap divided by fully diluted. These 2 things are normally not on. So Ethereum, they're all out. Solana, 80%. BNB, all out. But SUI, only about 28% out. That can make a difference because if you look at Obviously, if they're all out, then the market cap and the fully diluted match. But if you look down here at SUI, 6 billion, but fully is 23 billion. Big difference. So we're going to adjust a little bit for something in between. All right, so if we look at the market caps, and I already did some of the numbers here, Ethereum being 362 billion. And then what I did was I just went over to DeFi Llama, jumped onto Ethereum, and looked at currently 56 billion, almost 57 billion locked. I did a lot of rounding. So if we take the 362 billion, the 57 billion locked, that's a 6x multiple if we just looked at total value locked compared to the market cap. All the coins are out, so fully diluted and market cap are the same. That's a 6x. Okay, did the same thing. I'm going to save us all some time and just go real quick. Solana was 92 billion, and I believe it had 7 billion locked. All right, now Solana only had 80% out. So at 80%, the coins are out there now, that would be a 13x. If you compared the 7 billion to the fully diluted, it would be a 16x. All right. BNB, all their coins were out, 89 billion. And what did they have locked? About 5 billion. So that's a 18 billion. So that's an 18x if you multiply it out. Now, SUI is interesting. Let's take a look at SUI because at the moment they have 2.8 billion coins out. So we're going to look at, I already pulled it up, Tokenomist. They changed their domain. And essentially, I'm just using the free version. But you can see here, every month they've got a release. And it's about the same. So even though I don't have a subscription, I can't see this right here, I'm just going to assume it's roughly the same every month. Just so you know, if you move up to the top, they tell you the next upcoming event. So this is the number that I've used in the calculation. 65 million SUI coming out on December 1st, which represents at the current price about $150 million. And if you look at it, their allocations are early contributors, the Mist and Labs Treasury, Community Reserve, Series A, Series B. Series A, Series B, early contributors. Will they hold on to it? Will they sell it? I don't know, but that is the vast majority. Okay, let's just also, I've made some assumptions that we're going to use 10 months, assuming this bull run goes for 10 months. Why did I use a year, 12 months? Because it's hard to multiply things by 12. Again, big dumb animal, we're multiplying by 10. Keep it simple. All right. So if we look at it that way, we're going to add in 10 months, let's see, about 64 million times 10, 640 million more coins, which will take us to 3.4 billion. So we're going to go from, in the next 10 months, 28% of SUI being in circulation to 34% being in circulation. Great. If we use those numbers, currently it's about a 6x. If we use the additional and take us up in circulation, it'll be about a 7.5x. Now, if we looked at fully diluted SUI, it's a 23x, but we're going to talk about that later. So right now, we're just going to compare. We got Ethereum at 6x, Solana at 16, BNB, we're going to say 18, and then SUI 7.5. So it is, when you look at Solana and BNB, you might say, okay, well, that's undervalued, 7.5. But let's keep going and take a look at a couple things here. I'm going to pull up, which I did earlier, total value locked. And here are some graphs. Actually, here's, I'll show you what I did. I just went over here. You pick one like Ethereum. Go to total value locked. So a quick advertisement. I created this school community. Link down below, $25 a month or pay for a year and get 2 months free. As you can see, we have communities for organizing crypto and discussions. And if you appreciate fundamental analysis and want to keep up to date, then this is the place for you. I'm hoping for like-minded people to have discussions with. I'm adding courses all the time, from debanking to staking, put your crypto in an IRA for tax advantages, you name it. Whether you consider yourself new or advanced, there is something for everyone, and you will find content here that is not on YouTube, as well as some videos posted in the community before they're even live on YouTube. You get them first. And what I did was I decided to use, because this is the last time things ran up, and SUI's new, so it doesn't have all this past data. And I just said, let's go to 2023 when things are kind of slow and boring. So you just change the graph here. And I did apples to apples. I'm going to show you all four starting at 2023. Let's take a look at their trajectories. We've got Binance Smart Chain. I'll put Ethereum right there. We've got Solana. And then we've got SUI. All right. You don't watch my channel because it has awesome graphics. So Binance Smart Chain from 23 till now, look at the trajectory. It's basically flat. Ethereum, look at the trajectory. 20 billion to, well, it was up there earlier this year to over 60, and now it's in the 50s. So it doubled, almost tripled, but it doubled. So that's a nice trajectory, especially when Ethereum's so large. It's like any other, it's like a startup company. You can easily put up numbers and do 100% every quarter growth if you're really, really small. But once you become really large, it's hard to put up big numbers. Solana, now look at this trajectory, 23. That is phenomenal, up to like 6 billion or so, or 7 billion. And then SUI here, it's just over 1 billion, but it really started this summer. Doesn't go back to January, and its trajectory is phenomenal as well. All right, so if we look at it from that perspective, Solana and SUI have incredible TVL trajectories. Solana is about a 16x, and SUI here again is about a 7.5x. Now, that's total value locked. Okay, now let's look at, I'm going to choose fees because fees are more likely representative of transactions and activity on the network. Fees that are generated from transactions. So we're going to look at Ethereum, all four of them. I'm just already pulled up the maps. Again, we're going to go like this and start with 2023 so we can get an idea. So here we have Solana in terms of fees from 2023. This makes sense because we saw the TVL trajectory go up. It's around 4 million. We've got Ethereum. Well, they had some real bumps here, but fairly steady. Now it's around 5 or 6 million. So Solana's at 4 million. Ethereum's at, I believe, 6 million. Binance Smart Chain, even though these graphs look similar, it's down quite a bit from summer, and it's only about 300,000. Now, I don't have SUI because SUI does not show that on DeFi Llama, and I couldn't find it anywhere else, maybe because they're newer. They don't have the fees. So let's talk about the two different metrics. Looking at total value locked, Solana had the best trajectory in terms of growth, and SUI also had an excellent trajectory. So to me, I would say that currently, because SUI is just a 7.5. So with SUI, I took the current market cap as 6 billion and there's 1 billion locked up. We said in 10 months, there would be additional coins. And also those coins at the current value would add about 1.5 billion. So that takes the SUI market cap to 7.5 billion with 1 billion locked. Of course, it could go up over time, or we expect it to. That's what we're going to keep an eye on. That puts them at a 7.5. So if we compare them to Solana, because Solana has very similar charts in terms of total value locked and trajectory, then I would say Solana is twice what SUI currently is. So Solana's got their 16x and SUI's only 7.5. To me, that tells me that SUI is actually at the current value of 2.45 undervalued, and it should be, just based on Solana, TVL, and potentially fees, it should be potentially around $5, twice what it is now. Now, we don't know the fees, although they might be low, because SUI prides itself on having very low fees. They show here average cost of transactions in SUI. They showed at 0.001. I thought I saw somewhere it's more like 0.002, but regardless, and they're incredibly fast, which is why we think they're going to continue to have growth. And here they've got Solana, Avalanche, and Ethereum. All right, so what do I think? Well, I'm basing my projections on the fact that I think right now I may pick up more SUI. I don't know if I said this at the beginning. I own Ethereum, I own SUI, and I own Solana, and I don't own BNB at the time of this recording. I might pick up more SUI. I think it's undervalued. However, the one thing we didn't get around to was the fact that they only have 28%, going to, in the next 10 months, about 30-some%. Their fully diluted value is much higher. That gives them a 23x if you base it on fully diluted. In a mature market, things would be based on fully diluted. People are going to tell you fully diluted doesn't matter. When you're bringing in institutional investors, yes, they care about the fully diluted value. So it's possible that this price is already built in, because if you took a 23x, that's more than Solana and BNB at 16 and 18x. Is that already factored in? Maybe so. But just looking at circulation, I would say that right now it's undervalued. There's not much of a chart you can look at because it only goes back to this summer. But this is on a daily, and I do have the 100 and the 200 day here. So you can see that, yes, it has crossed. And we've got the 100 above the 200 day, which is what we want to see. And it's moving, but then again, so is the whole market. So what's my opinion? My opinion is that right now, I believe, based on circulating coins, that SUI is undervalued at the current price. That's my opinion. That's what I'm going to watch. I'm going to continue to watch to see if fee information comes out, but I'm definitely watching total value locked. Now, if you're familiar, SUI has many other features and reasons why it would get additional network activity. But what's always interesting to me is when people come out and talk about how low their fees are, that's great, but that just means you have to do a lot more volume to get more revenue. All right, so if I think currently it's undervalued and it should be closer to maybe $5, shot in the dark here, well, what do I think is going to be its ultimate price potentially? Let's take a look at altcoin market total 3. Total 3 is at around 600 billion. It could get to about 800 just to match what it did this summer. Last time it ran up to a little over $1 trillion. So if it just matches last time, that's a 2x. I personally believe it goes twice what it did last time. That would be around 2.4 trillion, which is about 4x what it is now. We don't have past price data on SUI, but like I said, if I think that it should be about $5, and I believe that the market in general is going to 4x. Personally, I think Ethereum will go to 10,000. I thought it would 4x when it was around 2,500. I think that would be great. Anyway, if I think SUI should be $5, and I think the whole market will 4x, and SUI's on the lower end, meaning I believe valuation-wise, meaning I believe it can do a much higher multiple, I would take the $5 current price, which I believe it should be at 4x. I'm looking at a $20 SUI. I would start selling probably below a $10 SUI on my way up to 20. I'm not setting my levels yet because I want to see how it does compared, like I said, to the other blockchains. We just got to see how things start playing out and keep an eye on those metrics. So there you go. I think it's undervalued at the moment, and I'm looking at, on the high end, a $20 SUI. Thanks for watching. As I always say, hope we can all make generational wealth together with crypto. Have a good day.